Broadcasting from Millennium Student Center at the University of Missouri, St. Louis, and online at umslradio.org. We are the voice of UMSL. We are UMSL Radio.
The opinions expressed on this program are the views of the host and not necessarily the views of the University of Missouri St. Louis or this station.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of That Science and Nature Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Howard, and this week I am joined by Sebastian Forward.
Hello, everyone.
Becky Hanses-O'Neill.
Hello.
And Andrea Trigueros.
Hey there.
Eunice is traveling this week, so we are missing him, but he will be back next week, don't worry. This week, we have a great episode for you. We're going to do something a little different than we have in the past 2 weeks. So instead of starting with the news and then moving into a topic of the show, the whole hour we're going to be spending on a specific topic of the show. And that topic, most of you probably have not heard of this, is going to be called March Mammal Madness. So it's the month of March now, and most people are familiar with March Madness, which is college basketball and voting on teams and placing bets and all that stuff. But in the science and nature world, in the biology realm, we have an annual competition that started 10 years ago called March Mammal Madness. The way this works is that every year, Arizona State University drops a bracket of a bunch of matchups of animals that are going to fight. And the animals don't actually fight. This is just all theoretical. Basically, they pick all these animals, they put them in specific categories, and scientists on Twitter have arguments about if these two animals were to battle, who would be the victor. So sometimes it's a fight to the death, sometimes it's a victory by animal A can't find animal B. It gets very silly and very ridiculous and very wacky. But what we're going to do today is make our brackets. So we're going to talk all about all the matchups and who would win or who do we think would win and maybe get in some discourse and hopefully not arguments, but we'll see. So on the Arizona State University website, and you can Google this, you can Google March Mammal Madness. There's a bracket that dropped for 2023. They've been doing this for 10 years now, so it's the 10-year anniversary. And there are 4 categories of animals we're going to go through. And you can follow along, too, if you go to the website and click the player link and print out a bracket. So we have 4 categories. We have Mighty Stripes. So these are all your striped animals. We have Itty Bitty Comeback City, which these are your really smaller animals, not very big. We have your Animal Engineers. These are your animals that are really good at building stuff. And then last but not least, we have animals with dad bods, so more of your tubular, chonky animals. So we're going to start with Mighty Stripes. And a lot of these animals we ourselves have not heard of or I'm unfamiliar with. So we might be doing some Googling along with you back at home, but that's okay. It's part of the fun. So we're going to start in Mighty Stripes, which is the top left of the bracket. And there are 8 matchups. And the first one is the okapi versus the 4 stripes grass mouse.
So, for those who are not aware, the okapi is a very weird, striped, 4-legged creature native to Africa. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're related to giraffes, about the size of a horse. Neck isn't very long, but they still have their crazy tongue. The giraffe looks pretty, or their head looks pretty giraffe-like. So, yeah, horse-sized critter, giraffe head, cool stripes.
Looks kind of like if you squished a zebra, like 50-50, with something slightly scrawnier than a zebra. It's a weird animal. You should definitely see one if you can.
And actually, you can see one at the St. Louis Zoo, I believe. We have some crappies there. So check them out next time you visit the zoo.
Excellent.
And the 4-striped grass mouse basically looks like a mouse with stripes. It's pretty much what you imagine in your mind.
It looks kind of like a chipmunk.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the okapi is going to kill the mouse, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and all of y'all can't see it, but we have some seed rankings for each bracket, and the mouse is not looking so good in the rankings.
All right, so I think there's not much discourse on this. I think I'm just going to write okapi.
No.
Let's explain the numbers, right? So okapi has 1, and the grass mouse has 16. So what do these numbers mean?
I actually don't remember. I thought they were just like the number of the participant. I don't think they actually have like intrinsic value.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they're just randomized because there's 16 competitors in each section of the bracket. So they matched up 1 and 16 and 8 and 9 and 5 and 12. So I think that's just how they organize it. I don't think the points those actually correspond to anything of importance.
Okay.
To my knowledge.
All right.
Someone who's more of a March Mammal Madness veteran might correct me. Okay. Next, we have the striped polecat versus the giant striped mongoose.
Both of these things are kind of long, weaselly creatures. They're I think they're related, but my bet is on the giant striped mongoose because they have attitudes. Mongooses are specialized for eating venomous animals, and they can even be resistant to snake venoms and things like that.
So I'm going to go polecat. Polecat's a little bit smaller, and while not common, you'll hear people, I think, in the United States call skunks polecats. This particular polecat is from Africa, looks a little bit like a skunk, similar size, but also has that gnarly spray that skunks have. So if our mongoose gets hit with the spray, our mongoose is in trouble.
Win by chemical warfare, I suppose. All is fair.
All right, I'm voting the mongoose, but that's my personal take.
I'm going to side with the striped polecat, too.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, next matchup we have is the side-striped jackal versus the striped possum.
I must say, jackals are pretty scary looking creatures. They got a mean look in their eye. Been revered for centuries in North Africa. You got the Egyptians had their whole thing with jackals as like one of the gods. I think they've got some street cred there.
Now's probably a good time to introduce our possums, of which there are many on this list. So here in Missouri, you're going to be just familiar with our local possums, but there are many types of possums. There's some in South America, lots are going to be in Australia, lots in Indonesia, and they range from ours, which are a little scary looking, to the most adorable little critters you've ever seen.
Yeah, the striped possum's pretty cute. It's really small. It's like squirrel size.
I think the jackal's going to win out on this one.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
I think last year when we did this, I picked all the cute animals and I got destroyed. Okay, so next matchup is going to be the striped dolphin versus the checkered elephant shrew.
So sometimes in March Mammal Madness, they invent stories about the playing arena, because how does a small shrew battle a marine mammal like a dolphin? So we have to kind of hedge our bets on
how they could possibly meet each other in the wild.
You see, I would like to imagine a semi-aquatic arena in which one side was on land and the other side could have the dolphin. Now, in this environment, how would they fight each other? Who would be on the offense or defense? And I will say, dolphins normally live in the water, but they can breathe air for certain periods of time. And they can also reach swimming speeds so fast that they can full-on fly out of the water. So, my money would be on the dolphin taking a spinning leap out of the water and, just doing a full-on body slam on that, 20-gram shrew. I don't think it would stand a chance, in my opinion.
I should also mention, and I neglected to say this at the top of the hour, the way March Mammal Madness works for the arena is it's not the same arena every time. The arena is determined like seconds before the battle starts. So no one actually knows where these two animals will meet in the wild or fight. So it can be something humorous, like they could drop the dolphin in a desert, and that wouldn't be very good for the dolphin. Or they could both be in like a meadow or something. Honestly, no one knows until it happens. Again, the competition is very ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying it's always fair. I'm just saying it could happen. So
I think the dolphin would last longer on land than the shrew would in combat with the dolphin. That's my...
Okay. I'm just letting the audience know sometimes these matchups kind of can go one way or the other based on the battlefield.
Fair.
All right. Next, we have the wildcat versus the Highland streaked tenrec, which I don't know what a tenrec is.
Tenrecs are pretty cool. They look, even though they are not remotely related to, they look like hedgehogs. This one is, they might all be from Madagascar.
I believe they are all from Madagascar.
It's definitely from Madagascar. So they look a little bit like punk rock hedgehogs to me. They got the quills, but they are not related to them, other than being big.
Are the quills like actually defense, like they actually spiked?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna vote the Tenrec then over the Wildcat.
Wildcat's got a good bite though. It's basically just like a just like a cat, but I think they're kind of larger than house cats, but just actually wild as opposed to like semi-domesticated like cats are. The ones we keep in our houses. They're not fully domesticated. Everyone should be aware of that. They're just there because it's convenient.
All right, our next matchup is the striped hyena versus the fire-footed rope squirrel. Which, from Googling fire-footed rope squirrel, it looks like a regular squirrel.
I know, I was super disappointed with the squirrel. It's not very exciting.
It has such a cool name though. Fire-footed? Why is it called fire-footed? Is it just color-based?
And what is a rope squirrel?
It has like a fiery color to it. I don't know about the feet though. I can't get foot pictures of the squirrel.
Do they climb on ropes in maritime or industrial settings? But they do look maybe like a smaller version of our gray squirrels or fox squirrels.
Just gotta say, yeah, it's
African species.
it's not looking good for the squirrel versus hyena.
Yeah, just like siding with the jackal, I'm also going to side with the hyena.
Yeah. They can, like, fully crunch through bones of very large animals. The bite force of hyenas is insane.
And they're clever, they're super adaptable.
And if you've never looked it up, this is not your spotted hyena. This is a striped hyena. And to me, these look way scarier if I had one bothering me.
Scarier?
For some reason.
Scarier than a spotted hyena? That's impressive. They have some pretty intimidating vibes there as far as all animals go. Hyenas are pretty far up there.
All right. Next matchup, we have the striped rabbit versus the numbat.
So first off, yes, a numbat's a real thing.
Is it a bat? No, it is not, according to Google.
So it'd be an Australian creature. I don't know. It's kind of like I put it in the same weight class as a rabbit. Maybe a little lighter.
So it's a marsupial.
It kind of looks like an aardvark, a little bit.
Marsupials are so weird.
Yeah. They've just got a way of looking like all the other things we have due to convergent evolution.
Yeah, and so Jeremy kind of hit it on the head with an aardvark. So these eat termites, so they have a long, sticky tongue. Over time, they've lost a lot of their teeth as well, so they have really similar adaptations to aardvarks and anteaters, even though they are marsupials.
The rabbit looks like a rabbit, but like brown and black instead of white.
At least the rabbit has teeth, so I think I'm going to go with rabbit.
Okay, he's just gonna eat carrots while the numbat kills him.
No. But does the numbat even really have like sharp teeth? I don't think it does.
Do you see that tongue? He's gonna attack the rabbit with the tongue.
Nah, not very good offense there. I'm afraid the numbat is lacking.
Oh,
The numbat can deal with termites. I'm going to go with the numbat.
I'm not so sure.
so when they're
about
dropped
that.
in the middle of a termite hill, the numbat will win.
Lead the striped rabbit into the termite.
Exactly. Okay, our last matchup for Mighty Stripes is the kudu versus the badger bat.
I'm afraid I don't know much about a kudu. What do kudus do?
Another African ungulate, so hooked African critter. They've got big horns. They're beautiful. Maybe a bit smaller than horse size. I might be a little off on the size there.
The badger bat looks like a bat, but it's like Oreo colored. Is
Oh,
the
yeah.
easiest way to describe it.
It's very cute.
I've never seen a bat look like that. Yeah, it is like black and white, another African species.
But,
Yeah, a rare species of bat.
Kudus do, however, have huge horns that are very majestic and most certainly evolved to crash into other things and use as weapons. So, they do have that going for them.
Okay. All right, everyone got all your bracket T's filled out for Mighty Stripes?
I do. I think I'm going to go with Okapi for the win.
Okay. I'm just doing the first round matchups. You don't have to fill out the whole bracket section.
I'm doing it.
Okay, that works for me. Just for runtime for the show. Okay, now we're moving on to the bottom left of the bracket, which is the itty bitty comeback city. So these are all your smaller animals. And there is every year a wild card winner, which is basically like two things that go head to head and then basically then join the fold of itty bitty comeback city or whatever the bracket is for the year. So for wild card this year, we have the shrew mole versus the bumblebee bat.
Now, I would like to pitch in a bit of information about the bumblebee bat here. You see, this is actually the smallest mammal in the world, or I think it's the smallest bat in the world. This thing weighs several grams, like several paper clips total. That is the entire animal. It's like the size of a grape. Just imagine a flying grape, and that is what this bat looks like and how big it is. Amazing creature. And the shrew mole?
It's just like a really small...
Comes in at 10 grams.
Yeah.
10 grams.
I'm going to just go for the bumblebee bat just because it's so small. I don't think anything will find it, and they'll just walk off the battlefield.
I agree. And weight is 2 grams.
Yes.
Okay. So then our first official matchup for Itty Bitty Comeback City is the sea otter versus the wildcard winner, which I guess depending on how we decide, it would either be the shrew mole or the bumblebee bat. I guess we can decide that now. Let's say we go with the bumblebee bat.
Bumblebee bat.
Who would win between that and the sea otter?
So sea otters are not itty bitty. What is this doing in this bracket?
I don't know. Maybe it's in reference to like an elephant. I don't know.
Yeah. Otters are larger than you'd expect. You may have seen the like little pictures of them being all cute with a sea urchin or whatever, but they're very crafty little critters, and they do have teeth.
Cute and a mean bite, I was going to say.
Yes. And they're also smart enough to like I read about one that unscrewed all the bolts on a table that was in its enclosure and then carried it around, and that thing could make a shield. The otter could use weapons.
All right, our next matchup is where my pronunciation is going to get botched. The southern ningao guy versus the grasshopper mouse.
All right. So I know about the grasshopper mouse. It is small and can jump very far, and that's kind of why people call it the grasshopper mouse. What about the ningguai?
So the ningguai is another marsupial, and it's one of the smallest marsupials. So we got another really itty bitty tiny creature here.
I think I'd have to go with grasshopper mouse. They take down on a routine basis scorpions and things that are bigger than them. They also howl to defend their territories, kind of like wolves. So they're pretty fierce little mice. So I'm going to go with grasshopper mouse.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the mouse too. It's going to jump to victory. All right. Next up, we have the Cybree dwarf lemur versus the silver pika.
Pikas do get major cute points, but lemurs...
So do lemurs.
Yeah, lemurs are interesting critters. They're agile. If you've ever seen one of them jumping around, they can, I don't know, they're springy.
Do we have this at the zoo? The lemurs?
I don't know about this species, but there's lemurs at the zoo, yeah.
Okay. I feel like I don't know what to say about either of these.
It's a toss-up to me. Neither of these are particularly aggressive. Right.
Well,
I don't know.
for the lemur, I think this is a species that was kind of rediscovered recently. They thought it was extinct.
Oh.
So based on that, I'm just gonna vote for the lemur. It existed for a while without anyone's knowledge. I think it's gonna put up a fight.
Has the element of surprise, I guess.
A little bit of surprise, yeah.
All right, that's a good take. I'll go for that. All right, so next up we have the Mara versus the Siberian chipmunk.
Once again.
What's a Mara?
Yeah, Maras live in South America. I believe they're guinea pig relative, but they look a little bit like a huge jackrabbit, but without the big ears. That would be my best way to describe them.
And they have really tiny little front legs. It looks kind of if you took a rabbit and crossed it with a horse, something like that. They're weird little guys.
It kind of looks like a capybara to me, a little bit.
Lady capybara, I can see it.
True.
All right, and Siberian chipmunk.
I don't know. And anything that can live in Siberia gets survival points. That's some major adaptive ability there, and yeah, if you can live in Siberia, I would bet on that.
I feel like the Siberian term is kind of broad though, because from the flying squirrel stuff I used to do, like Siberian flying squirrels are all over Europe and Japan. I'm like, that's just maybe they originated in Siberia, but this is a very broad term for Siberia.
Fair
That's just
enough.
my take.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Mara, just because of the size difference.
Yeah, I think I'll go Mara too. All right, okay. This next pronunciation is going to kill me. Next up, we have the Itjurit-juri versus the silky anteater.
Ooh, Andrea, I like the pronunciation.
I'm trying it out. Jari.
Let's see. So silky anteaters, they use their front little claws to kind of dig into ant mounds and use their super long tongue to slurp things up. But I don't know. That's not very combat related. All it has for it are those claws.
Did you find anything on the other animal that I won't pronounce?
Jari. So it's a marsupial mole that lives in Australian deserts. So pretty extreme habitat. So I'm gonna go with what may be called Itjari.
Okay. I'm just going to write it on the brackets. All right. Okay. Next up, we have the dik-dik, which is DIK-DIK, versus the Colo-Colo opossum. Dik-dik's like a deer, right?
Yeah.
Except teeny.
Tiny deer.
It's got something of a weird face, too.
It's a deer that you could fit in a purse or a small grocery bag.
We've made a mistake. They are tiny antelope.
Oh no. I don't know. If one of those, if you were trapped in a room with 2 or 3 of those, I think they could do some damage.
I mean, I think it's just one, though.
Well, yeah.
They have horns.
Previous years, they have done hordes of animals, though, which seems unfair that a horde of animal would fight this other one animal, but that's beside the point.
I mean, if you're social.
Yeah.
I don't know. Opossums have a lot of teeth, though. If the opossum could get a good bite in there, I think it'd stand a chance. But they're really slow. If you guys have ever seen opossums, their main strategy is to play dead and just avoid confrontation. So I'm not sure it would stand up to the fierce tiny antelope energy.
Just from the photo, the opossum looks like it's going to fall asleep. So I just think the dik-dik's going to win. That's my 2 cents. You can see I'm thinking real hard about this.
Huh. Apparently the dik-diks whistle through, they have this very tubular snout and they whistle through the snout when they're a friend. So I can just imagine this little dik-dik whistling as the possum is playing dead.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the dik-dik.
All right. Next, we have the bulldog bat, which is a great alliteration, versus Thor's hero shrew. And I'm going to Google both those.
Yeah, the shrew, it has a really cool name, but it does just kind of look like a regular old shrew. So rodent-like, lots of sharp little teeth for eating bugs.
Thor would be disappointed.
I wonder if Chris Hemsworth knows there's a rodent named after his Marvel character. Probably not, but...
I'd give points to the aerial advantage. The bulldog bat is actually pretty chunky for a bat. You could imagine it, just picking up the shrew and doing an aerial drop with it.
It's got a big snout too, so that might set it over the edge.
And they're the fishing bats.
Ooh, so they're totally evolved for swooping on things and then.
They're flying low.
Yes. Sounds like a winner to me.
Sounds like it.
All right, and then the last for Itty Bitty Comeback City, we have the rock hyrax versus the pygmy jerboa.
So this I'd go Hyrax all the way. If you haven't seen a Hyrax, they look a little bit like tiny pigs, but they are not related to pigs at all. I believe their closest relative is actually an elephant, and they have really gnarly teeth, where jerboas are very, very cute. I'll let someone else introduce the jerboa.
Jerboas are like mice with chicken legs. They're real long legs.
Kind of looks like a gerbil, but even scrawnier.
It's like the size. It looks like the size of a marble from the Google photos.
That might be a baby.
Okay.
Yeah. I think even at full size, they're absolutely tiny, and the rock hyrax isn't that small. It's like, I don't know, it's bigger than a rabbit. Like, you know, that thing. It's got big fangs too. Like, look at those things. They're like, it's got two. They look like fangs. I think it would win.
All right, I'm going hyrax all the way. All right, that brings us to. What was that? Oh, yeah. Great point, Sebastian. So we're about halfway through the show, so we'll be right back after this disclaimer.
Broadcasting from Millennium Student Center at the University of Missouri, St. Louis, and online at umslradio.org. We are the voice of UMSL. We are UMSL Radio.
All right, and we're back. So now we're going to cover the last two categories, which are animal engineers and dad bods. So this is where things get much less mammal-based. Things kind of go out the window with what is actually in this bracket. But first matchup for animal engineers are the golden eagle versus the spongilla fly. So I know what an eagle is. I don't know what a spongilla fly is.
Yeah, I did two takes when I saw this matched pair. A fly versus an eagle. I don't know.
Yeah, given that eagles can take down, you know, like deer and large animals and like probably a person if it wanted to, I would match an eagle highly against almost any like other smaller thing. I don't think the fly stands a chance.
My only one thought was if the fly is like a disease vector, but I don't think it is.
I couldn't find any
Yeah.
disease transmission.
Best it could get would be a tie. That's, you know.
Well, best the eagle just wouldn't be able to locate the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the eagle. Okay, next up we have animal engineers, the veined octopus versus the pufferfish.
Let's see. I feel like I know at least some pufferfish are venomous. I think that's kind of part of their existence. How do we think the octopus could engineer its way around this prickly fish?
I'm going to say yes to the octopus. So this is the octopus that can use other tools to defend itself, to protect, to hide behind like a conch shell, so it can like gather armor from the environment and protect itself against the pufferfish.
Okay, I was going to go pufferfish, but you convinced me. That's a good argument.
Octopi are very smart. Never doubt the abilities of a cephalopod like an octopus.
And also, I have to say, I would love to see the competition between the octopus and the golden eagle, and that's really my
That is my motive for being here. Yeah, tool usage is really cool in animals. For those of you who don't know, we think that as humans, we are the only people that can use tools because of how smart we are. But lots of animals, you find out, can also use tools, like octopi.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, we have the paleocaster, I think I'm saying that right, versus the trapdoor spider.
So we're getting into some extinct things here. The paleocaster is a very small, extinct ancient beaver known from fossilizations of its burrows. So it's very cool. And then trapdoor spiders. Anyone want to take on the trapdoor spiders?
That would be a whole group of spiders who dig or find a little hole, line the whole hole with their little spider webs, and then they get a little trap door to set over the hole that they can They can move up and down, and when an animal walks by, they'll move the little trapdoor up, jump out of the hole, and then grab whatever's walking by. So they're very, very crafty, but against a beaver, even a small beaver.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's venomous, so I'm gonna go for the beaver.
Oh, well, I'll be.
Becky's about to defend the spiders to the death.
No, not to the death. I don't think their venom's strong enough to kill a little beaver, but all spiders have some venom.
Okay. My quick Google search just said bite is not dangerous. I guess it doesn't mean not venomous.
A beaver would have a much lower tolerance to venom than a human because we're much larger, and venom dosages are very relative to body mass. But still, beavers are rodents, and rodents can be pretty fierce when they need to be.
All right. Next we have the lungfish versus the tent-making bat. I'm gonna Google tent-making bat.
I have heard of these guys before. They're a like rainforest bat species that they fly up onto the bottom side of like a banana leaf. Think some kind of big tropical leaf, and they chew out the little support veins on the underside of the leaf so that the leaf actually like collapses and folds over. And, you may have heard about bats like to hang out upside down in caves or in little hollows or things like that. These bats make their own little hanging spot under those leaves.
Yeah, I've seen them under a coconut tree.
Aw.
They're so cute.
So anyone?
How would they ever encounter each other? A lungfish and the tent-making bats? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go for the bats. Again, aerial advantage.
Yeah, that's true. They could engineer a falling trap for the lungfish. I know lungfish dig burrows too, but I don't know. Bats got a lot more brain power than a lungfish.
Is the lungfish, Becky, do you know, related to the hagfish at all with mucus and all that?
No. Well, other than that they're fish and share
Right.
ancestor, but the lungfish, I believe, are going to have, well, maybe they don't. They're a lobed fin fish, and I can't remember if they've got full bones or if they're in their own little group somewhere.
Because I know hagfish is like pre-vertebrate, so.
Yeah, the lungfish have like really simple ability to breathe air, which it's kind of one of the weird things about them. It lets them live in really shallow waters, and they can like burrow into mud and survive for like years, just kind of dried up in fish stasis. But yeah, I know that's their helpful thing, but I'm not sure it would help them in a fight.
Okay. All right. Next we have the goanna versus the Rufus hornero, which I know neither of those.
Okay, so I know the Rufus hornero. It's a bird, a South American bird, and they make these really cool nests. So they look like clay ovens where you bake pizza. That's what their nests look like. And
That's
actually,
cool.
The name hornero in Spanish, horno means oven.
Interesting.
The goanna basically looks like a giant, or not giant, a Komodo dragon, more or less, like a big lizard.
Ooh.
They're monitor lizards from Australia, and in terms of engineering, I suspect they're really good burrowers. They're also going to be pretty gnarly predators, so I'm a little worried about our horneros.
Honestly, I'm worried about them too. I don't know if their clay nest will survive these predators.
Ooh, I don't know. You'd have to make some walls pretty thick to keep a burrowing lizard out. That would be a challenge. I don't think the bird is up for that. You gotta get into like termite levels of building in order to fend off something like that.
So, do North American ovenbirds also make a nest like that? Or do they just happen to be called ovenbirds?
Yeah, I don't know where the name comes from. They don't make nests like that.
All right. Next up, we have the Homo habilis versus bee. And bee, it doesn't specify what kind of bee, just bee.
Jeremy, I want to know your thoughts as a bee researcher. What do you think of this generic bee?
I mean, I feel like the general public, when they say bee, they mean honeybee, usually, because they don't know any other kinds of bees, like bumblebees or sweat bees or orchid bees, as we have learned. So I'm going to assume the audience is meaning honeybee, if I had to guess. Homo habilis is an extinct animal, at least for my Google search. It's basically like a primate, like in our previous evolutionary days.
These are some of our ancestors within the past couple million years ago. Homo habilis was the first one in our like hominid lineage to start using tools. So there's all sorts of archaeological sites that were made by Homo habilis making stone tools and spears and stuff like that, and they were kind of the first of our ancestors to start using tools, which
that's why they call him the handyman.
yes, but I will say
Bees
I would
versus someone with tools. I feel like that's going to be...
Jeremy, let's make an executive decision. Can we change these to bumblebees so they can sting Homo habilis?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
yes.
I mean, I don't run the competition. We'll find out next week. They're like, it's actually an orchid bee or something.
I will say, I wouldn't go up against bees, even just general as that. We are descended from Homo habilis, and I wouldn't mess with bees personally. What do you think?
I've never been stung by a bee, but I'm going to go for bee. I think bee could potentially take out
Yeah.
one of those.
If the Homo habilis has an allergy, that could also be a problem.
It's like,
Okay.
you have to be serious to just go and mess with bees without, I don't think Homo habilis would have learned the things we know about like scaring bees away with smoke so that they leave you alone.
Won't work on bumblebees.
Oh, really? Really?
All right. Next, we have, you're going to help me with this pronunciation again, the Montezuma orapendola versus the New Caledonian crow.
Okay, so Montezuma orapendolas. So they, I guess kind of like weaver birds, they make these like woven teardrop painting nests. They nest in colonies. It's, what do you call this type of mating system? Like the mate guarding the several females.
Like a
harem.
weck? Oh.
Or polygyny.
Well, yes, polygyny.
All right. The New Caledonian crow, an incredibly intelligent island crow species. That these guys can solve all sorts of problems. They can make tools. They can take a little. If you put a bug at the bottom of a jar that the bird can't reach, and you give it a wire, the crow will bend the wire to make a little hook so that it can reach the bug and get its snack. Once again, they're very crafty.
I'm picking the tool user again.
Yeah, I have to agree. The crow.
All right, and for our last matchup for animal engineers, we have the cathedral termite versus the dung beetle.
No contest. Termite all day. What's the dung beetle gonna do? It can't even get into the cathedral termite's house.
It has a ball of dung, Sebastian, as a weapon at its disposal.
Well, is this one termite in an arena?
Fair.
I don't know. I'm
Versus one beetle? Yeah.
Now, however, if you say one individual termite, as in, one genetic unit of termite would be an entire colony of termites, because all of those termites are just, spawned off a single queen. So I think that queen counts as the entire colony.
I don't think they thought this hard about it. I think it's one termite.
I don't know.
It's just because in previous years they've done swarms of animals and they specified it is a swarm or a one individual. So my guess is that it's one termite versus one beetle. That's my gut.
Well,
We'll find out when they
hey.
do the battles on Twitter. And they're like, the single termite got rolled over by the dung beetle.
I think one termite can't really do anything. I don't think that's not the strength of the termite. The strength of the termite is their colony.
It could also be a soldier termite.
They are pretty big.
They have casts.
All right, I guess we'll find out. All right, now on to the last competition, or last section of the bracket, which is the dad bods. First, we have the emperor penguin versus the lined seahorse.
I'd like to clarify that these are all dad bods because the males of the species participate in parental care. So the emperor penguin males will take care of the eggs, and the seahorse males actually carry the offspring in a little pouch.
I'm voting penguin.
Yeah. Emperor penguins are also huge. Like, however big you think an emperor penguin is, it's bigger. They're like 4 feet tall. They're huge. They weigh like a lot. That's like a bird the size of your dog right here. Seahorses are all very small.
All right, next we have the owl monkey versus the Caspian tern.
I don't have great opinions. I guess the tern could like peck out the owl monkey's eyeballs.
The owl monkey does have big eyeballs, I will say that from the photo.
That's true. It's got that primate energy though. They're ferocious. I wouldn't ever want to get attacked by a small monkey. They've got all the agility in that instance.
I think I'm going to follow Andrea's logic and go with the aerial advantage, so I'm voting for the tern.
Well, they are actually pretty big terns. They're some of the largest terns.
Really? Okay.
All right, cool. Next we have the Pacific spiny lumpsucker. That's a great insult right there. Versus the peacock wrasse.
The peacock wrasse is very famous from genetic studies, but I'm not so sure about their fighting abilities here.
The lumpsuckers are very cute. They have a little suction cup mouth like a plecostomus. They don't have scales. They're very round. Wrasse can be kind of jerks, can be territorial, and I think some of them might even have some kind of like beak for scraping and that kind of thing. So my guess is they could take down these cute little guys.
Huh. The peacock wrasse is really beautiful. It's like rainbow color from the Google search. Got a very neon vibe going on there. All right. Next up, we have the siamang versus Darwin's frog.
Frog is going down.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't stand a chance. Siamang is a primate, like kind of medium-sized primate. They're also insanely loud. I think they've got a really crazy scream. Yeah, no, I don't think the frog stands a chance.
Does the Darwin's frog have any big connection to Charles Darwin? Is that why it's named as such, or is it just curious? Everyone knew.
I don't know. When I looked it up, I was just like, okay, is it venomous? Will it win?
Okay.
And is it?
No. It's just a good dad.
It was, however, discovered by Charles Darwin.
Well, we don't know that. I'm asking.
We do.
Oh, is it?
Yes. It was discovered during his HMS Beagle voyage, during which he created the theory of evolution.
Okay, I didn't get to that part of the Google search. Sorry. Sebastian got it right.
I mean, to be fair, the frog is pretty good camouflage.
That's true.
It might escape being eaten and destroyed
flung wildly at a wall by the siamang.
All right, then we have the bat-eared fox versus the spotted sandpiper.
I would go with the foxes on that one.
They're very fast. And incredibly cute.
And those ears will help hear the spotted sandpiper from a mile away.
That's true. Spotted sandpipers can run fast, but once again, you can't win a fight just by running away.
I just feel bad for the shorebirds.
Yeah.
Fair.
I'm rooting for the tern, though. I have that one. All right, next we have the wolverine versus the giant water bug.
So why is the Wolverine on the dad bod bracket? What have I missed in Wolverine research recently?
Maybe they play and or take good care of their.
That is not my current understanding
No?
for the males.
Something.
I know the giant water bugs. They do carry their offspring on their back, and they're pretty ferocious. But once again, they I don't believe their venom is like dangerous. I know it's an incredibly painful bite, but Wolverines are terrifying as far as mammals go.
Okay. Yeah, I have to go with the Wolverine.
The water bug though, it like liquefies the inside. It's great.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I say if the giant water beetle was in the itty bitty comeback city, bracket, it would win against most of those small things. But
Right.
Wolverines,
Not against the
yeah, Wolverines can take on a person. Like,
All right. Next, we have the greater flamingo versus the Dyak fruit bat.
How big are these fruit bats?
One moment.
Smaller than the flamingo.
yes, that's for sure. We could be wrong. If it's a giant fruit bat, it doesn't look like the giant fruit.
It
bat.
looks like a regular size bat. Is the Dyak?
Yeah, no.
Alright, flamingo.
Yeah.
I'd pay one of the flying foxes. Like they got big teeth. I'd say a flying fox could take on a flamingo.
Are
but-
flamingos like known to be aggressive? I'm not necessarily even with the matchup against the bat, just in general.
No,
No.
Okay.
not really.
Okay.
So just by size.
Yeah.
Right. Right, by size. All right. And then our last matchup for Dad Bods is the greater Rhea,
Rhea.
Thank you, versus this three spine stickleback.
So for anyone who isn't aware, which I'm sure most people are not, the stickleback is a fish famous for its, I guess, existence in genetics research. They've diversified a lot, and geneticists love them because they kind of tend to turn into different species all the time. But I hate to say, their genetic peculiarity does not give them much to go up against a Rhea.
They also have this cool thing in animal behavior where three spine sticklebacks. I'm trying to describe this. I know the information. I'm just trying to portray it correctly. So they follow a fixed action pattern. Which animal behavior is basically something in an animal that is like innately intuned in their biology. So no matter the situation, they will perform this action. What that means is, in the case of the stickleback, is they respond very aggressively to the color red. And that's because other conspecifics, so other sticklebacks they see swimming in the water, might be going after their mates, so they attack them. And researchers had some fun with this, where they'll color like a popsicle stick or like a straw red, and they'll stick it in the water, and the stickleback just sees the color red, and it will automatically aggressively attack the popsicle stick or the straw over and
Basically
over.
a program.
Yeah, it's basically like behaviorally programmed to do that, and it doesn't necessarily know why. So it's like people have kind of fooled around with that a little bit because the fish will just attack anything that's red. That's a fun fact of the stickleback. But I don't think the Rhea is red, so no, it's gray.
And heavier, so rays are flightless birds related to emus and ostriches, so I don't know, I'd be pretty scared of seeing an emu and ostrich in the wild, even though rays are a lot smaller than ostriches.
Huh.
Yeah, they're smaller, but still in the same size class of, if it kicked you, it would probably really hurt. And
So if you've ever been afraid of like a goose,
yes,
in the future,
exactly.
you'll probably be afraid of a ray.
Just imagine a 4-foot tall bird that wants to kill you, and that may or may not have the ability to do so.
Okay. All right. Well, that is going to conclude all of the matchups. Do we have any final thoughts on our Marshmallow Madness brackets?
Who do we think would win to the higher levels here?
I mean, you can think who's going to win the overall competition. We don't have time to go through every single round.
Oh yeah, no.
But in terms of the overall competition, you have any thoughts on who the victor might be?
Okapi or kudu. I don't see anything else that could kick those things' butt.
That's true. Kudus are like huge with really big horns. That is a big advantage. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I'd put some money on the Rhea because they're fast and maneuverable, and they got those big kicking legs. But against a kudu, I don't think so.
I still feel like I want the winged octopus to make it far. It's got good defensive.
Yeah. It might. Yeah, I'm thinking like the Wolverine, the Goanna, maybe. Those are just my knee-jerk thoughts. I haven't thought about it too much, but... So Marshmallow Madness will carry on all throughout March. It bleeds into, I believe, the first week of April. So not all the matchups are going to occur at once. Basically, every week they'll go through a handful of the matchups and they'll report them. So you can follow this on Twitter at March Mammal Madness. There's a Twitter account that portrays the battles there. There's also a YouTube page. You can just, again, Google March Mammal Madness, and they give what they call the rodent recap, which is basically where actors who have rodent puppets, because I guess the mascot for March Mammal Madness is a rodent, and they give recaps every week of all the battles of who won, who lost, and the upsets and the triumphs and all that stuff. It's like I said, it's very silly, it's very cartoony, but it's a fun celebration of animals and their different attributes and abilities. It makes for a lot of fun conversation during the month of March with biology students or us as biologists here on that Science and Nature show. But that is going to wrap up our show this week. I want to thank you all, of course, for listening like you do every week. And I also want to thank Andrea, thank Becky, thank Sebastian for being here and helping me fill out the bracket and giving me all the fun info on all the animals I did not know their backgrounds or how to pronounce. But yeah, you can find us next week when we come back with more science. I was to say Marshmallow Madness, more science and nature news, and we'll keep you updated on the brackets and how we do. Maybe talk some smack along the way. Until then, have a good week. My name is Jeremy Howard, and we are out.